What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Brandy Boy, back at it again with another Fallout 4 video. And for this video, I'm going to be covering the best Fallout 4 mods from the month of January 2022. It was a phenomenal month for Fallout 4 modding, and a great way to start the new year. We've got all sorts of awesome mods in varying categories, and quite a few of these are total game changers, so you want to stick around to see what they all have to offer. There's been so many great releases, in fact, that instead of making this video a top 10 or top 15, I'll have to do a top 20 to squeeze them all in. The mods range from visuals to new enemies, equipment, ammunition, and plenty of weapons, along with a few miscellaneous additions. No time to waste here, let's go ahead and get into the mods. Up first, I'll cover a couple of huge visual overhauls. Luxor Summer is a mod that completely overhauls the landscape for Fallout 4. It completely transforms the environment from a boring, barren wasteland into a lush and lively pasture. With this mod, you'll now see plenty of low-lying foliage, such as grass, bushes, clovers, flowers, and even the funny 420 plant. The trees have been revitalized as well, and you may notice additional growth on buildings across the map. Overall, it makes the Commonwealth a little less depressing to explore. The burning question is though, is it lore-friendly or realistic? Probably not, but you could come up with some reasoning for it. After about 200 years, it's possible that the flora could return to normal and flourish more than ever with the lack of human interference. Whichever way you look at it, you have to admit, this landscape is stunning, and it's worth an install for that reason alone. Before hopping in though, I'd like to note that this mod requires the Grasslands mod and the Fallout 4 HD texture overhaul. The texture mod is quite a large download of about 40 gigabytes, so I opted out of that one for now. The reason to download that is for proper level of detail generation, but I'd rather download a whole nother game instead. The mod will still work fine without it. But anyway, if you're looking for a thriving green landscape mod for Fallout 4, then you should definitely consider this one. It's beautiful, while still being performance friendly. To go along with the landscape, you should also enhance the lighting with an ENB, such as the Reactor ENB. Like all ENBs, this is a comprehensive lighting overhaul, which affects all the visuals in your game. It will change the colors, contrast, brightness, sharpness, bloom, depth of field, along with various other special effects. You get the point, it changes a lot, and overall it will improve your graphics and turn your game into eye candy, but it will cost you in performance. In general, the Reactor ENB goes for a more vibrant and colorful vibe, which pairs nicely with Luxor Summer. This ENB is meant to be used alongside the Enhanced Lights and Effects mod, and the weather overhaul known as NACX. The visuals can be downright breathtaking, especially during sunsets and when exploring the glowing sea with these special NACX radiation storms. With all of these combined, you can completely transform Fallout 4 into a different game, from an uninspiring, bleak wasteland into a vivid, apocalyptic wonderland. If you showed your friends this video, they would have a hard time guessing that this is Fallout. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and tell them it's Fallout 5 alpha footage. That would be kind of funny. So now that we've got a completely new environment, we should add some new creatures to populate it. And you know what goes perfectly alongside an overgrown green landscape? Zombies, of course. Well, in this case, it'll be ghouls. Fallout 4 has plenty of ghouls, but they're all the same and lack diversity. To freshen things up, you'll want to download the Feral Ghoul expansion pack. It adds in 9 new ghoul variations, which come in all different shapes and sizes, and they also sport unique visual traits and combat abilities. You may even run into some ghouls which retain enough intelligence to use melee weapons, but others are downright feral and barbaric. These ghouls will spawn in place of vanilla ghouls, but they won't replace all of the default ones. They spawn in a way that allows them to blend naturally into the hordes, so you'll find plenty of variety. In a way, this makes Fallout 4's ghouls feel like the zombies from Left 4 Dead, with all the varying enemy types and classes. You'll now have to approach the hordes with caution and strategy. No more cookie-cutter ghouls. Now, they are a diverse and deadly battalion of ferals. So, this mod pack will throw a much-needed curveball your way, and it's a welcome change to spice up your gameplay. Keeping with that same theme, we also have the Fall Evil Zombie Dogs mod. You can consider this one a feral dog expansion pack. It takes some of the wild dogs seen in Resident Evil and places them into Fallout 4, and they fit in quite nicely. There's several new variants which will spawn out in the waste alongside other wild dogs and mongrels, and sometimes you may catch them as pets to feral ghouls. Functionally, they aren't any different from the mongrels in the vanilla game, other than some number changes. They're simply a nice addition to have for more visual variety. The Cerberus variant especially will provide plenty of nightmare fuel. But if you want something truly terrifying, then you should download the Mojave Cazadores mod. It adds in the infamous Cazadores from Fallout New Vegas. It's a very faithful recreation which captures the classic Cazadores perfectly. No assets were reused here. They have custom models and animations which are professionally made. In case you didn't know, this mod is actually a part of a much bigger one called Project Mojave, which adds in the New Vegas world space to Fallout 4. With this standalone mod, you can now get the Cazadores here in the Commonwealth as well. They'll spawn alongside Stingwings, so now you'll find more variety in the mutated bug leveled list. Not all of them are bloodthirsty bugs though. You'll find a friendly Cazador called Kaz, located at Lynn Pier Parking. I'm not gonna lie, it's kinda cute, and it's now my emotional support Cazador. I'll admit, I was a little reluctant to download this mod at first due to past trauma of trying to run immediately to the strip and only being met by a pack of giant mutated wasps, but my therapist said I need to overcome my fears. I can say now that the Cazadores make for a wonderful and immersive addition to my load order. To fight off all these deadly creatures, you'll need some serious protection. And what else better to do that than a set of medieval armor? Well, there probably are some better options, but that's besides the point. Anyway, this is the Valkyrie Armor. It's a fantastic set of steel plate armor, and it looks like something you'd see in Dark Souls. Does it really belong in Fallout 4? Maybe not, but it looks awesome, and it's also going to be a part of a bigger mod release, in a future add-on to the Galactic Retribution mod. But for now, we can enjoy it as a standalone. To get the armor, you'll have to craft it at the chem station, and then you can carry out your quest as a badass wandering knight who cuts down their enemies with extreme prejudice. If you want even more protection, then you can always hop in your power armor. And if you want to add some more flavor to the power armor experience, then I suggest you download a mod called Complete Power Armor HUD Overlays. It'll add in some immersive first-person overlays to all the vanilla sets of power armor, all of which are unique to each specific helmet. One for Raider, T45, T51, T60, and X01. They all conceal your screen in some way, while still allowing plenty of visibility, so it won't hinder your vision all that much. What little you do lose in perception, you'll gain plenty more in immersion. This mod truly gives you the feeling of being in a bulky suit of power armor, and that makes the experience all the more enjoyable. Moving on to the next section of mods. You know what kind of mod has been too often overlooked? Grenades. There's just not too many grenade mods out there, especially tactical grenades. The ones that don't deal direct damage, but can be useful in other ways. Well, I have good news. We now have the M84 Flashbang mod. It's a popular flash grenade seen in many modern shooter games, and now we have it here in Fallout 4. I'm sure we all know what flash grenades do. You throw it at someone, it goes off, and it temporarily disorients them, which allows you to get an easy kill. That's exactly how this mod works. More specifically, when someone is hit by a flashbang, they'll get locked into an animation where they kneel down, and it'll take a few seconds for them to recover. This effect applies to various types of enemies, including humans, synths, super mutants, feral ghouls, and wild animals. But not all of them are affected. Particularly robots and giant mutated monsters are immune. You should also be careful because you are not immune to your own flashes, so make sure to throw them far away enough, or else you just may be the cause of your own downfall. You can craft the M84 Flashbang at the chem station, but you may also find them as loot. Once you master the art of flashbanging, you can use this equipment to tactically clear buildings like a SWAT operator. It's a load of fun to use, and I absolutely love the uniqueness of this mod. There's nothing else quite like it. You know what Fallout 4 is also missing? Ammunition. That's right. The ammunition in Fallout 4 got really dumbed down, almost to the same level as Fortnite. There's overall just a lack of variety, which is odd considering that Fallout New Vegas had way more ammo types. To fix that, you'll have to get a mod which adds in new ammo. I'm currently using Caliber Complex myself, but now there's a new mod which has greater potential. It's called Armament. What sets this mod apart from other ammunition mods is that this one boasts unique models for every type of ammunition. Right now, there's 15 new ammo types, and it overhauls all the vanilla ammunition as well. You'll see that the models have custom, high-quality textures, which are based on real-life brands. They are absolutely immaculate. It almost brings a tear to my eye. And yes, the projectiles are custom as well. The detail in these bullets are impeccable. Although you will never actually see them during gameplay, it absolutely raises your immersion levels and gives you peace of mind, knowing that each ammo type is unique. The mod comes with level list too, so you will be able to find the ammunition, provided that your weapon mods are properly patched. That's one of the downsides to ammo frameworks like this. It'll require you to patch all the guns in your load order, but thankfully, there's already a mod page which has a few patches available, but if you want to do it yourself, then you could always check out my tutorial on patching for Caliber Complex. The same methodology will work here. It's important to note that this mod is brand new, so it's still early in development and has plenty of room for improvement. There's already more ammunition in the works, so make sure to track this mod to keep up to date. Personally, I'm not switching over just yet, but given another update, I'll definitely make the change. This mod has the potential to be the most definitive ammunition mod of all time. With all this new ammunition, you'll need the proper tools to make use of it, if you know what I mean. Let's move on to the best part, the gun mods. There was a lot this month, so I'll try to be brief, and I'll go in order from smallest to biggest. First up is a handy sidearm, the H&K USP. It's an iconic German pistol made in the 90s, which you may recognize from other popular shooters. This particular mod is based on the 9mm variant, but in game here, it'll be using 10mm and you can convert it to use 45. There's quite a few other USP mods for Fallout 4, but I gotta say, this one easily ranks among one of the best. It has some extremely high quality models and textures. There's also plenty of customization to go around. You can add on a compensator, suppressor, extended magazine, red dot sight, a laser, and even change the paint scheme. The animations are top tier too, definitely some of the best work out there. The USP is extremely smooth and feels satisfying to shoot, while also looking devilishly stylish. You can find the USP as loot once you reach level 20, but there is also a legendary variant called Gordon, which you can retrieve from the Kingsport Lighthouse. It's probably a Half-Life reference or something. In a completely unrelated affair, this mod adds in a new melee weapon as well, the Crowbar, which sports custom animations. It's a very welcome addition, especially since there's a lack of melee weapon mods with unique animations. That's a pretty good 2-in-1 deal if I may say, so you should go ahead and install this one. You won't regret it. The USP makes for a great CQB sidearm, and it's definitely one of the best pistol mods for Fallout 4. This one is so high quality that it looks like it could be included in a AAA shooter. Up next is the Steyr AUG. It's a popular modern Australian bullpup, which can be either an SMG or an AR, depending on what configuration you choose. This model is actually a port from Modern Warfare, which is based on the AUG A3. I'll be honest, the AUG was totally underrated in Modern Warfare, and so is this mod. Maybe a hot take, but this is now my favorite AUG mod for Fallout 4. Just like in COD, it comes with all the same attachments, which range from muzzles, to sights, to barrels, stock add-ons, camos, and conversion kits, where you can shoot between 10mm or 5.56. You'll notice that the animations aren't from COD though, they're actually borrowed from an older AUG mod, but they fit perfectly onto this one, and it's nice to see some custom animations such as this. It makes the firearm very enjoyable to use, and this one is a little bit addicting. Something about the way it shoots just really vibes with me. To obtain the AUG, you'll have to find it as loot on enemies such as the gunners, after hitting level 28 though. So there's several other AUG mods out there, but this one is now my top pick because of its versatility and feel in combat. Depending on your style, you can run and gun with it as an SMG, or sit back and pick off your enemies with the rifle variant. Overall, it's well polished, and I have no complaints, so it's earned a permanent spot in my load order. I sure hope you like COD guns, because I've got a couple more in store. Next up is the legendary MP5. This one is also a port from Modern Warfare, but it includes a little more variety. It comes with all the flashy blueprints seen in Modern Warfare, and the best part, they don't cost any COD points. To go with that are the complementary attachments, which includes barrels, muzzles, stocks, sights, conversion kits, and even these special perks. Everything's there, except for the underbarrels for some odd reason. This mod also lacks proper levelless integration, so you'll have to craft the gun at the chem station and shoot in these special variants via the console. In general, the mod does seem to be unfinished, but I do like what we have so far. It is a port from Call of Duty after all, so you already know that the animations are some of the best in the industry. It makes the MP5 very enjoyable to shoot and to run around with, and it's got that beautiful HK slap. The Admiral blueprint especially is surely one to admire with all that wood furniture. Hopefully, it pleases all the Fallout purists too, because apparently plastic guns aren't lore friendly. So overall, it's a pretty solid mod, and it's a fun SMG to clear buildings with, but hopefully it gets another update to finish up where it left off. Yet again, we have another Call of Duty port. This one is called the Ultimate M4 Pack. With this mod, you'll be getting a whole set of vintage ARs. There's the M16A1, M16A2, M16K, Car 15, XM4, and even the modern Mark 18 as a bonus. This one is the best deal yet, and also comes with all the wacky blueprints from Cold War. There's so many in fact that I could barely fit them all on these two tables. All of these blueprints would easily cost you over $100 in the COD store, but Activision was nice enough to allow them to be free for Fallout 4, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Just like in Cold War, it's got all the various attachments. There's tons of options for every category, and I think this just might be the most customizable weapon mod for Fallout 4. What's most interesting is that in the receivers category, you can transform the gun between each AR variant, so it's got pretty much everything you need. It comes with the animations from Cold War as well, which are smooth as ever, and it makes the rifle addicting to use. Additionally, the M16 has a working burst feature, but it is noticeably faster than real life. And the Mark 18 does have the proper animations from Modern Warfare, but it will be using the Cold War attachments, which is a little bit goofy. Anyway, you can get the XM4 at Vault 111, while a couple of the M16s are stored away in the Museum of Freedom. Meanwhile, the unique blueprints are scattered all around the map, and the Mastercraft variants are craftable at the Chem Station. The only thing that this mod is missing is level-less integration. Other than that, it's one of the best AR mods of all time. You can customize it exactly to your liking, and use it in any combat situation. I would also say that these rifles are lore-friendly, and this may be controversial, but I'd really like to see the service rifle in future games look more something like this. It's simply way more aesthetic, especially the SWAT Master variant. This one could definitely act as a unique prototype laser weapon. So if you ask me, this mod fits perfectly into Fallout. But now, for a break from all those tactical firearms, or at least, somewhat. This is the Rossi Rio Grande. It's a lever-action rifle chambered in 4570, so it packs a good punch. At first glance, you may think it's an old-school Western firearm, but it's actually a modern rendition of one. The base variant is all beat up and worn down, but you can upgrade it with a Picatinny rail, which allows you to mount modern optics. And you can even change the furniture to be polymer instead of wood. There's also several unique legendary variants, which come with their own unique setup and can't be altered. And yes, it does have fitting animations, which are reused from the Winchester 1873 mod. They fit nicely onto this one, without a hitch. It's also got a working bullet counter reload, so you'll always reload the correct amount of bullets. So unlike the Far Harbor lever action, this one actually works, and it looks way better too. These rifles aren't injected into the leveled list, so you'll have to find them around the map. To get started, you should head to the Museum of Freedom, which is where you'll find the base variant. This lever action is a welcome break from all the usual automatic firearms, yet it still bridges the gap between old and new with its customization. Every single cycle of the action makes me feel like a modern day cowboy. All these special legendary variants are what set this apart from other lever action mods. So I would say this one is a hidden gem, and one of the best lever action mods out there for Fallout 4. But now for something with a little bit more oomph. This is the GM6 Lynx. It's a Hungarian bullpup 50 caliber anti-material rifle. I didn't even know this thing existed. It is kind of an obscure firearm, but this mod has piqued my interest, especially with its unique shape and function. The GM6 comes with its own set of attachments as well. It's what you'd expect, really. You got scopes, muzzles, receiver upgrades, a few cosmetics, along with the mandatory tac sack that boosts your testosterone. This rifle is certainly a unique one. Not only is it a bullpup, but it also has a reciprocating barrel to help with the recoil, so you get all the advantages of a full-length rifle while still being compact and manageable. The animations truly reflect its power. You can feel the raw weight when handling the GM6. With every shot, you'll physically feel the kick in your shoulder. It's quite a badass sniper, and it's one I didn't even know I needed until this mod came out. It is a foreign import, so to find this weapon, you'll have to pick up a special shipment from the FMS Northern Star, or you can always craft it at the chem station if you're lazy. This Lynx is an absolute menace, and since it's an AMR, it'll be of great use against those extra tough enemies, such as sentry bots or even behemoths. There's a few other AMR mods out there, and this one definitely deserves a spot in the inner circle. Overall, it's a well done mod, and its special design makes it stand out from the crowd. And now, for the last and biggest gun on this list, the Tesla Heavy Autocannon. It's a massive energy weapon fed by fusion cores, which shoots out Tesla arcs. It's an original design from Newermind, so it's never been seen before, but it looks exactly like something you'd see in Fallout. But just like the other heavy weapons in Fallout, the attachments are rather minimal. At most, you can change up the receiver and barrels to adjust its fire rate and damage profile. It does have an option for sights, but they are misaligned. That's because this mod uses vanilla animations, but other than that, they do fit in. And yes, this is a Tesla weapon, so the energy shot out from this monster will arc over to other enemies. It can be especially deadly if you get a whole crowd of people bunched up together. You can essentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or more like 10 ghouls with 1 burst. That function makes this cannon extremely powerful, almost overpowered really. The only downside is that the range is limited, and it will blind you when firing, but aim is totally overrated when using a gun like this. Overall, it's a super badass weapon, and it makes for a fine addition to my heavy weapons collection. Now that we're all geared up, we should head out on some quest. If you're looking for something new, then you should try out a mod called Brothers in Arms. It adds in a whole new lore-friendly faction called the Legion of Steel. They even have their own headquarters, set in Hanscom Air Force Base. They are not to be confused with the Brotherhood of Steel. In fact, they are a splinter group from the Brotherhood, who broke off of the main faction a few decades ago in DC. While the Brotherhood follows Maxim, the Legion follows the ideals of Outer Alliance, so there are some key differences. To start the questline, you'll first have to pick up a note from the Cambridge police station after helping out Paladin Dance. You'll then have to head over to the airbase, which is west of Concord. Pro tip, be careful not to choose the wrong dialogue, or else you just may ruin your chances of joining up. Each character is voice acted, and for the most part, they do a pretty good job at it. There's also some funny dialogue choices that I notice, which is a nice touch. But anyway, once you join up, you'll be given some simple tasks to do. It's nothing too crazy just yet. That'll be saved for later down the road. Right now, the mod isn't finished. There's only 4 quests, and at the end of it, you'll have to choose between either the Brotherhood or the Legion. I heavily suggest tracking this mod's Nexus page so you can be alerted for future updates. I'm curious to see where this one goes. It could end up being a completely fleshed out faction which you can end the game with. It looks very promising, and it's nice to see some more quest mods that expand upon the vanilla experience, because Fallout 4 definitely needs some more complexity to the main quest line. After completing all those quests, you'll surely have a few level ups, so you should go ahead and spend them on some perks, but if you want something other than vanilla, then you should check out T6M's Perk Pack. It adds in a bunch of new perks, most of which were seen in Fallout New Vegas, all of which are genuinely useful and can make your character a little bit more powerful. Additionally, it adds in some extra perks related to ammo crafting, which is meant to be used alongside the Weapons Overhaul Redux mod. But for a non-negotiable, you'll have to get the Be Exceptional mod, which adds in the classic skill system. This perk pack in particular is essentially an add-on, which works its way in seamlessly and makes for an immersive and lore-friendly addition. And if you want to add in some more flavor to your character, then you should also get a mod called Much Better Third-Person Animation Tactics. Kind of a mouthful to say, but anyway, this mod overhauls all the third-person animations for your character. There's animations for every category: one-handed melee, two-handed melee, pistols, rifles, and heavy weapons. It affects all the idling, movement, and aiming animations, but it won't affect reloads. Those are usually already added in by individual weapon mods. Personally, I don't play in third person very often, but I just may have to with this mod. I will have to admit that the animations do look pretty cool, and they make for some good poses and screenshots. That's all I gotta say for that one. It's rather simple, but it's yet another welcome addition to my load order. And finally, to wrap things up, you'll want to save what little time you have with the MCM Booster. I'm sure we all use the mod configuration menu at this point. One of the big issues with it though, is that it can take quite a long time to load up if you got a big mod list like me. The MCM Booster fixes that and speeds up the process drastically. Instead of waiting 10 seconds to get into the MCM, it now loads up in a matter of milliseconds. Another small change, but it'll save you lots of time in the long run, so there's no reason not to download this one. And that's all I got for this list. Like I was saying, January was an exceptional month for Fallout 4 modding. It looks like things are only getting better, despite this game being over 6 years old. I'm gonna keep saying it, Fallout 4 modding isn't gonna die until Fallout 5 comes out. And even then, it won't be guaranteed, so I'm gonna keep covering these mods every month until that happens. If you made it this far, then I can only assume that you're really into Fallout 4 and always looking for new mods to check out. To keep up to date, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release a new video. If you like this one, then make sure to desecrate that like button. And if there's any mods you think I missed, then let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video.
Dude, fuck off! Let me get some damn fucking footage.